again to Roxania Speaks. I have not been posting my videos, but Happy New Year. This is the first video that I'm recording in the new year. Yes, you might say other videos been posted, but those were recorded last year. But this year, brand new year, we have some exciting things for you. So I'm here today with Monique and Tashika. Hold on a minute. I don't think this thing is on. So, as I said to you, we have some exciting things to talk about. I know last year it was a little bit terrible in terms of persons seeking job opportunities, and not a lot of work not about and people want to explore. And so Monica and Tashika, they got an opportunity, and I'm just gonna ask them to tell us all about this opportunity. So Monique and Tashika, can you just tell us, you're in the UK, right? Can you tell us a little bit of how you got to the UK? Why are you in the UK in the first place?
To work. Better opportunity, financially, it's way better, but the work is a lot. Not saying the work is easy and it's not much, but the work is actually there.
You're in the UK to work, but that means you were living in Jamaica before. We don't want to take it for granted that UK. So you were in Jamaica, but now you're working in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you employed in Jamaica?
Yes.
Yeah.
But now you're working in the UK. So tell us the transition. Why? I mean, work. Some people don't have no work, but here you are. You have your work at Jamaica, and you left your work at Jamaica, and now you're in the UK. Why?
Because of opportunities, better opportunities, just on a whole, better opportunities.
Well,
Yeah.
for me, better opportunities, and it's easier here for us to upgrade ourselves.
Okay, great. So all around, so you're talking about upgrade in terms of the career and also in terms of your financial position, putting you in a better space than being out here.
Exactly.
All right, great. Now, how did you guys get to the UK? Suppose me want to get a work at UK. Don't spill the beans now, man. So, and what kind of work are you doing? Tell us.
We're doing healthcare jobs, but at work they refer to us as healthcare assistants. So in Jamaica, we are referred to as practical nurses.
Okay.
Yeah. So we basically do everything for the residents that are there, from assist with feeding, but here they don't call it feeding because they said you feed animals. So we say assist with eating. We do baths. We don't do vital signs. The nurses do that.
Or
Nurses,
medication.
no, we don't do that. The RNs do that. So we do like personal care, hair care, stuff like those.
Just really taking care of the patient.
Yes.
Without
yes.
the whole the medication part of it. How did you get to the UK? Was it one of those programs through the Ministry of Labour and National Security?
No.
Okay. Tell me
They
about
were
it.
basically advertising. So the link I got it from an old school principal, and he sent it to me through WhatsApp. And a old schoolmate of mine also sent it, and I applied. But at the given time, I was just applying randomly to see which would come through first. And when it did came through, I didn't remember where exactly I applied, and I was telling persons that I applied and I got through. And one of the girl that sent it to me, she told me that she was the one who sent it, because I didn't remember exactly where. But the transition so far is good.
Okay, that's lovely. Monique?
Okay, and for me, I got recommended to this company that I applied through for working here in the UK. A doctor that I worked with very closely knew the owner actually for the agency. So I went ahead and I went on Instagram and I reached out to a recruiter, and they sent me a link for me to fill out the application and submit it. And when I submitted it, they had called me and they told me that I would have an interview over the phone 2 days after. After submitting it, I had 15 minutes interview on the phone. And then from there, I started getting other interview dates and ways to prepare for the interview, because the other interviews that I had wasn't with the local recruiter. It was with the company that I'm actually with right now.
But
Okay.
her process was a bit different from mine, because when I got called about the program, I was told that I have to go back to school, in which I had to go to school in Kingston. So I was doing like online classes, and then on weekends I would go in for clinical labs sessions.
Mhm.
So hers is a bit different from mine, and it wasn't in the UK that I was supposed to come. I was supposed to go to the US, but the US program crashed. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. So from one opportunity to another opportunity. All right.
Yes.
So a lot of persons are asking questions about how to get the work, because persons believe that once you say it's a work program of foreign, and believe all you need to do is just fill up an application form and you go. You don't need to do an interview. Persons believe all you need to do is to just fill out an application form and you will get through. Pay your necessary fees and support and you will get through. They probably don't think that they need a certificate and all that kind of jazz. Tell me about a little bit more about what you did in the application process, and then you tell me about the interview.
Okay, then in regards to the application process for me, I so when I made the payment for the application, right? They submitted me a format in which they wanted me to put my resume in, like a specific format. So
Mhm.
I went ahead and I did that, and they said I should submit all my documents, like in regard to the practical nursing, where I did my practical nursing, and references. So persons that I worked with, I should list them. They
Hold
also
on.
gave,
Hold on, Monique. You said something about document. What do you mean by document? Like certificate from the schools and so
right,
qualification?
so right, so I
Okay.
went to Distinction College and
Mm-hmm.
I did the regular exam, and I also did the City and Guilds. So the City and Guilds exam is an international exam and you get an international certificate. So that's why for me, I didn't have to go back and do additional courses like
Mm-hmm.
Tashika. Tashika had to go back in Kingston and do classes and practicals on
Mm-hmm.
weekends. So for me, I got the international vocational certificate,
IVQ.
IVQ, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I got that and scanned it and submitted it. And my regular certificate that stated that I completed the practical nursing under the Ministry of Education.
Mm-hmm.
And my birth paper, passport information, my marriage certificate. I submitted, and what else? I submitted a lot of documents.
ID,
What
TRN.
did
My
she,
TRN,
what
my
about you,
TRN.
Tashika? Apart from,
Okay. So for me, my process is a bit light, Monique, but as she said, I had to go back to school. Reason being, because the certificate that I have, it's through, I'm certified through NCT Vet. Even though it
Mhm.
is recognized, it is not as, I wouldn't say it's recognized as much as a City and Guilds. However,
Okay.
I did a level 3, so I did my application form. They told me in which way I'm supposed to submit my resume, in which I did so, and I submitted my documents. I had a hard time getting references.
So
Yes,
be careful on that one.
because normally I don't take crap from employers. No, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I'm gone. Sorry to say, but yes. So, however, I did get my reference letters and I submitted my certificate, my passport, my um, ID,
ID,
my
TRN.
TRN, and NIS, and the process just basically started from there.
Right.
Okay. That sounds good. So you submitted your application, and what next? What happened after you submit your application?
Well,
For the UK,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So well, mine is a bit different from Tashika.
Right.
So we met with the company in June. We were initially to go to Philadelphia to work,
Mm-hmm.
but then they had a lot of changes in the company. So they put us on to the UK program. So
Mm-hmm.
in June when we met, they asked us if we were interested, and they gave us time, and we said, okay, we're interested and everything. So I got 2 interview dates, which was in July, the 5th and the 7th. And I went for the interview on the 5th. I passed that interview, and that interview wasn't with persons here in Jamaica. It wasn't with the company here that I was going through. It was actually like a Zoom, Google meeting on screen.
At
So
the
that was with the
agency.
employer.
Right. So
Okay.
with the employer, I did that interview on the 5th. On the 7th, I went to do the interview.
Hold on, the
And
money.
then,
Hold on, man. Hold on, you move too fast. The people them want to know what I keep. People them want to know what I keep. So the first interview you do on Zoom. So you could have stay home and do that interview there. Dress up though. You put on your professional. You
yes,
couldn't stay home.
no.
Oh,
The agency
The agency said that persons who went before us,
had
they had
problems, connection problems.
yeah, poor connection, a lot of noise. The lighting was poor. They just
Mhm.
said no more. So we had to go
Oh.
in the office.
So you went in the
Right,
office dressed professionally to do the
right,
Zoom interview. That was the first interview that you did, right?
right.
So what are some of the things you talk about to interview? What did they ask you on the first interview?
Um,
Just
what did
roughly.
they, they didn't ask me much. That interview was like about 5 questions. They asked they asked me a very simple question like,
Tell me about yourself.
yes, tell me about
why you chose to work in this field, stuff like that.
yeah, just
Okay.
regular interview questions, basic.
Mhm.
Strength and your weakness. It was just about 5 questions. I wasn't in there even long. I wasn't in there long, not even 30 minutes.
15 minutes they told us that the interview would last for, but it was less than 15 minutes.
Right.
Okay. And you left that interview and the second. So when did you know that you passed that interview for a second interview?
Well, I knew that the same day actually, because I got a morning time, and like probably in the evening around 4,
Mhm.
they said that I was successful and I'm supposed to come back in on the 7th.
Okay.
When I went on the 7th, I
Mhm.
got an early time. And when I went there, I sat in the room and was waiting for them to come on the screen.
So it was a second Zoom interview.
Right. With the
Okay.
employer.
So how different was this one from the first one?
It is
Well,
more
very different because it was longer, and then again I
they
didn't
went
get
more in depth.
yeah, and I didn't end up doing it.
Tashika, tell me about your experience with the second interview.
Okay, so my experience with the second one, they went more in depth with the questions. And it lasted longer. They asked me questions about what I do at work. I should give them a breakdown. Things that like happen at work, like an incident, and how I dealt with it. They asked me why I chose. Well, some of the questions that they asked from the first interview, they asked back in the second interview. So they asked me why I chose that job and stuff like that. But it was longer and more in depth.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
So
Right.
guys, you would say then to Jamaica, to the world, if you're going on a program like this, you need experience.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Just want to make that clear. So you can't just get up and apply and then expect that without qualification or without experience, you're going to get an opportunity like this.
No.
Even though it's in a care home, you can have experience. Like Monique has experience in the clinic and the hospital settings, but I am normally in the home.
Okay, so you come with 2 different type of experience. That's
Exactly.
good.
Right.
All right. So tell me, based on the second interview that you said was very intense, what questions did they ask that you never expected them to ask that you think was a bit challenging for you? Or how do you prepare yourself for interview like this? Were you given any guidelines?
Not
Not
necessarily.
really. Okay, so the question that was really like not expected was when they asked me if I see my colleague mistreating a resident, Jamaican rough them up on, I deal with them a certain way, what would you do? So in a Jamaica now, say we not take no food from the table, but here it's different. Managers, deputy manager, and head nurse, senior, they always want to be in the known. Here in UK, maybe USA and Canada, they always want to be in the known, even if it's your best friend. So my answer was like, I would remind my colleague about the work policy. I know in the work policy, it talks about mistreating and treating patients or residents the right way. I know regulation of the company. So, you remind your colleague and say, hey, can't do that, you can't do this, you have to, remember the work policy. And then you report. So even though you give them a heads up to say, hey, I see what you're doing and that's not right, you have to report them. Because either way, if it comes out, they're going to know that you know about it. Trust me, because cameras are everywhere. And people might hear and pass and see and them not say nothing to you. Right? And you think that it wasn't seen because it wasn't said at the time. So even though you remind your colleague about the work policy, you still have to report it because here they're not known. You get what I say?
Not just that. Remember, if you don't report it, them can try to turn the tables for you and make it look like you would do it, So
right.
It's better if you report it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. So that was one of the questions that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm winding down now. So after this interview completed and stuff, how long after did you know that you passed, you got through to the program?
Well, for me, by the Friday, my last interview was on the Thursday, and by the Friday, I was at work feeding a patient, and I got the email. When we get the email, so I was successful. I run left the patient, Run left the patient, and I call my mother and tell her, I see him, tell my mother like, thank you, Jesus, yes, finally. So it's just overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah. I was at home when I got it. It was same time. I did it Thursday and the Friday, around in the afternoon, like probably 1 o'clock thereabouts. And yeah, I was very happy. Couldn't believe.
Hold on, let me ask the question again. So after you got the email that said that you were successful, what was the next step?
Okay, so the next step was gathering the references, ensure that we had a valid police record.
No older than 6 months.
Right.
Okay.
At the time, no, because we had to do another one.
Yeah.
Before we leave in August. So he's getting the references, having a valid police record, ensure that our passport was up to date and everything, even though we had submitted it in the application, that I can't submit an expired passport. And
DBS check for here. The DBS check would be like police record in Jamaica, but here they refer to it as DBS check. So that had to be done as well and submitted before we can travel.
All right. So last question. So from the time you knew about the opportunity and you applied until when you're leaving, what's that period? Because persons sometimes want to know, when I apply, should I be frantic if 1 month pass or 2 months pass, nobody not call me? How long do you think how long is the period from applying and getting through to actually leaving?
Well, it's not long because for us, knowing about the opportunity was June and we left October. So June 2022 to October 2022. The longest wait would be for the COS, Certificate of Sponsorship.
Okay. All right, guys. I promise this was going to be a long interview. I know that people want to know some other things. So, of course, I'm going to invite you guys again to come and share with us about your experience. I don't know, is the first time you guys going to the UK?
Yeah.
Right, to tell us about that. How was that? Plus other, I'm sure, engaging stuff, exciting things that you guys would have done. So again, Monique and Tashika, I just want to thank you for taking the time out to share with us. And I don't know if you want to brag about your the recruitment agency in Jamaica, because persons have been messaging me on YouTube asking me which agency, which agency, which agency. I know there are different agencies span across the island. I don't know if you want to share that, but let us wait and see what the comment section says, and we can work on that if you don't want to share. So thank you guys for coming. Guys, don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe. Yeah, do. So
Okay.
until then, toodaloos.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.